submission is like blind obedience. That's something that I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like blind obedience. Like, regardless what I say, you just got to do it. But that's not, again, I look at it, that's not the case. That's not what submission is.
Not the case.
Because...
I'm going to ask the question.
Because, again, us getting married, we didn't go into this blind. We didn't go into this like, okay, you going to marry me, you just follow. Like, that's not, we did this together. We made a plan of how we wanted to get married, how we wanted our life to be, how we wanted to do our finance. All this stuff it wasn't just like, okay, listen, we're gonna get married, let's spend $300,000 on a wedding. Like, we didn't just go into it blind. Like, we really took our time, and again, we submitted to one another because there was some things that I wanted that you didn't, and vice versa, but we submitted to one another, so.
This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage. This is the B-side, B-side, B-side of marriage.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Bside of Marriage Podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband and co-host,
Jason.
And here at the B-side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-side. So if you're tuning in on YouTube, please be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, all the things that you're supposed to do on YouTube. And if you're listening on any of the audio platforms, please be sure to rate, follow, and review.
As well, follow us on Facebook at The Bside of Marriage and on Instagram at Bside of Marriage.
Alrighty. So let's start this episode with the first segment is where we share an A or a B-side moment from the week.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna go A side.
Okay.
Because last week we talked about the kids need to be in school.
Okay.
They're in school. Hey, I'm just saying it's it's a little more peaceful. I don't hear no arguing, no fighting, just annoying each other. So that's my A side. What about yours?
Well, mine is an A side as well.
Okay.
It's school related. Yes, the kids are in school, but also too, there's a thing out here in the suburbs of the Houstons called Mom and Mimosas. Oh my God, here.
Good.
Called Mom and Mimosas. And so it's at a local restaurant. So I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll go check it out. I was amazed. First of all, how, it was an event. They had a photographer, they had, a balloon arch, they had multiple, picture displays. It was, a whole thing. They had a special, menu, a brunch menu. It was, then they had different size mimosas. This place we go to all the time. They were like, do you want a small or a large? I'm like, wait, what? There's options? It was a whole thing. And then to see the moms in there. So you had the moms who look like me.
What does that mean?
Mainly we just dropped our kids off.
Oh, okay.
And we went in workout attire to come and go to this thing.
Gotcha.
But then you had those moms who were like, no, this is their day of freedom. They went home, they showered, they put on makeup, they did their hair, they put on outfits. It was a whole thing. Literally, we got swag coming into the restaurant. It was amazing. It was really great. So that was my A side, that I got to actually experience that, doing the drop off and being able to walk the kids in, only walk our littles in, and then see our oldest off. That was like the whole first day of school was just I think my A side.
Okay.
But so that was it.
So our next segment we have is the P2P share, where we share something we're listening to, watching, or reading.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the other one? Reading. So What you got?
So, I didn't know where I was going to go with this, but we're going to go to reading. I listened to, I'm a big fan of audiobooks because I'm able to do multiple things at once. And my kids won't let me be successful in sitting down with a hard copy. I don't even know what that means. I read this book, or listened to this book called Number 9 by Colleen Hoover, maybe. I think her last name is Hoover. Anyway, she's from Houston. There's like a whole thing. Like, was self-published, like, and now she's like this New York's bestseller. Like, it's like a whole thing. I didn't know. I just read the book because I'm part of a book club. They were like, "Oh, this is the book," and it's actually really good. So it's like light. Oh, it's not necessarily light reading, but it's like a good story, kind of like a break from reality.
Okay.
And it's a real easy read. So I would recommend that if you're looking for anything. It's technically still summer, so if you need summer reading, check that one out.
Well, I ain't got nothing this week. I ain't got nothing.
Oh, you came to me like you just knew what you was about to talk about.
Nah, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing this week. Had a lot of early meetings this week, so.
Okay, well, that's
yeah, let's go into the second. Let's go.
Let's start talking about what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And what we're going to talk about?
I don't know.
Submission. Dun dun dun. I feel like I needed like music or something. Cause that is a heavy. Nah, it's not a joke. It's like it's a heavy word. You need like dungeon type stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Submission in marriage is just one of those things that people do not like to talk about. Okay, I shouldn't say that. People like to talk about it in regards to being forced onto the wife. It's more so, I feel like, once again, this is another topic where I feel like the wives get kind of like the short end of the stick. Which is why I think I was not looking to get married.
Mm-hmm. No, but you're saying it's not wrong.
Because of that.
What you're saying, again, because I guess I'll say it like this. So the way they show submission is, and I'm only doing this because it's a reference from Star Wars. So like if anybody's ever watched Star Wars, if you think of Jabba the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt has all these women around him on chains, feeding him food, if it's grapes, whatever it may be. And that's kind of how they push the word. I guess, I don't say they push the word, but that's how it's interpreted of submission, is that you have this man who all the women got to submit to him. So that's kind of, I guess, an analogy that I came up with.
Okay. I'm going to read the definition.
Okay.
Because you basically use the word to try to define what it is. So,
oh, I did? Okay.
So yeah, so according to the dictionary, submission means the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. And usually when you're using submission, it's literally that is like this is being forced on to the wife to submit to her husband, because the Bible says, wives, submit to your husband. That scripture.
Yeah, it's about six verses for, I think 6 verses of submission for wives.
Yes.
And then 1 for men. But I guess what everybody misses the verse before they start talking about why the first 6 for the 6 verses. The one before that said we're supposed to submit unto one another.
Okay, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Slow down a little bit. All right. So oftentimes women are told that they need to submit to their husbands because of, what's in the Bible. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, I feel like people are always saying that we need to be submissive wives. Okay. And that means like ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive. And that's where I had the problem, because I was a very strong and independent person. So you're now telling me I'm to join with a man, like, you know, join with my husband, and now I have to become passive.
Okay.
I have to basically give up me to be his wife. That's why I was like, I don't, that did not sound attractive at all. I was like, nah, I'm going to opt out. Because that's not me. But what I've come to find out through experience and just through like my own studying of the Bible and just what that word, what submission means, I guess the practicality of it led me here. So led me to like, you know, say that I could be married.
You said let me hear. Like, you want me to say something?
No.
Okay.
So let's talk about, so we talked about the definition. So now let's talk about how submission is like perceived by those who are not married or even those who are married, how you feel like it's taught, whatever. So
no, again, what you see in TV, what you see on TV, even in some households you see that, because even if you think about the old TV shows, I'm gonna say like what Little House on the Prairie. What is the mom doing with the kids at home? Like she's pretty much doing everything. Dad comes home and what happens? She's catering to him. She's doing, So that's what was kind of taught to everybody about what, not so much what submission means, but that's what is taught. That's what you see. It's like, so that's what's supposed to happen. But that's not the case, though.
Well, it's taught that women are to give up themselves to basically whatever their husband wants to say or do or whatever. Her voice no longer matters.
Correct.
She doesn't have an opinion. If she has an opinion, it's the opinion of whatever her husband tells her is the case.
Correct.
It's very controlling and domineering because that's what I said. It's not necessarily submission. It's having a submissive wife. It's that label is what really leads to like the controlling, like to the husband not being held accountable, to just shush. You know your role. Your role is to raise the kids, cook, clean, whatever, and be done with that. Like,
correct. Don't
step out of your lane. And I'm just like, that's crazy. And how that shows up in a marriage is that, it might be cute at first. But like, oh, he likes to order my food for me. And, oh, he likes to tell me what to wear or who I can hang out with or whatever. Because you think it's cute. Oh, he loves me so much, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But then when you say I do and you realize, no, this is just the way this person is. And when you try to speak up when your needs are not being met or you're not liking the way that there's the lack of communication or the way the finances are being handled and you try to speak up and they're like, nah, like what? I'm sorry, that's not how it works here. I don't know who told you you had to say so, whatever. Now you're kind of like stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck. You're stuck in this marriage. You don't know if you feel like you don't have a voice or you don't have a position, an opinion of how things should be operated in your relationship. That is going to weigh on you and you're going to end up in divorce. There's just no way that if you never come out or get past that, can you have a successful relationship?
Yeah. And then I'll even take it, not say a little bit further, but no, it's not. I'm not saying oh no, but okay. The simple fact is, if the wife is supposed to submit to whatever the husband says, nothing's gonna get done.
Elaborate.
Because 9 times out of 10, the wife knows more about knows something. And I'll say for instance, like for us, like Shonda she's always on top of the school stuff. I get the emails, I'll read it here. If she was supposed to submit to me, like, I wouldn't know what the kids what's going on with the kids. So that's why the whole...
Well, you might allow me to handle that as the role of a wife.
But that's what I'm saying, is like, we don't know everything.
I get it.
So that's why I was like, so if it's for the husband just to be able to do, the wife has to submit everything to the husband, it's like, I don't know everything.
Right.
I don't. So it's like, I'm not going to, and for me, I'm not going to act like I know everything. So for me to be like, no, you know what, this is what you're going to do. No, this is what that doesn't work.
Yes, it doesn't. So let's talk about then what is submission in a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship?
Or what is it?
Yes. Like, what does it look like? What is it about? You go first.
Honestly,
how should it be in a marriage?
I think I said it earlier. It's just like what it says, I guess, in Ephesians 5:21. It says we're supposed to submit unto one another. So that means that it's about giving grace to your spouse, more grace. Like, you have to submit to each other, even if something doesn't go right the way you want your spouse. Got to give grace. Continue to give grace. You got to, like, it's just more and more, and that's where, I guess, the way I see it is like that's where, like, kind of the refreshing comes from, because if you're so much on, no, you got to do it, like, not say you got to do it this way or this is how I want you to do it. It's like, like we said once in our other podcast, like, I can't change you. I can't. So I have to submit to you daily, because I know that just like I'm not gonna get it right all the time, or I'm not gonna do something the right way, but I have to give you grace in those times. So. Okay.
And I think it's not just about giving grace. I feel like submission or being submissive is about holding people accountable. I think it's more around accountability than like a control aspect. Like, if you submit to me, you're basically allowing me to hold you accountable to the things that you said you were going to do, or or to the type of husband you said you were going to be, as well as when I submit to you, I'm basically letting you hold me accountable to what I said. Okay. I would be as a wife and what we expect, yeah. So if we're holding each other accountable to things, then, like, if we use accountable instead of submissive or submission, then I feel like it comes across a little bit better. But the problem is, I don't think anybody wants to be held accountable for their actions. Period. Point blank. Yeah. I just think people want to be able to do whatever they want to do, and just be like, oh, well, so it can go two ways, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm the head of the household, I can do whatever I want to do. Who gonna check me? Yeah. And then even from the wife perspective, it'd be like, oh, well, he out doing his dirt, so I'm gonna do my dirt. Oh. And it's like we come up with these flimsy excuses as to why we don't need to be held accountable. But it has been shown in the Bible over and over again about how you have to have a covering, how you need to be held accountable for your actions, how you have to carry your own weight, but be supportive, and you're supportive to others. And it's really like, yes, not only should we be accountable to each other, but we should have accountability partners, which you already have. Oh, yeah. Like, so that's your friend group. You should have couples that are like your mentor couple, couples that are mentors to you, who can speak into you, guys, when you're going through things, like even accountability to your kids, because you got to be like, hey, I'm not going to put, you're always going to be a priority in my life. And this is, so if I say I'm going to do something, or I'm going to be here for you, whatever, they will hold you accountable to that. We had that. We had a prime example yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Just, Jay went and did something. He said, but I'll be back before bedtime, before we started your bedtime routine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was not. And they were like, where's Daddy?
Yeah.
You would have thought you have, gone. Like, you
I
had
left the
flew
country.
somewhere, yes.
Yeah, I left the country.
Where's Daddy? He said he was going to be here. I go, guys, traffic. It's a thing. Like, we can FaceTime him. Yeah. But it was a whole thing. But yeah, so they're going to hold... they're going to hold you accountable to what you say, as well as we hold them accountable.
Correct.
To their actions. Mm-hmm. Like, don't go to school acting any kind of way.
Acting a fool, yep.
You go out, you represent the child of God and the Adams brand that you are. And so, yeah.
She was talking about Adams brand. Go ahead.
Well, because every household, every family is a brand.
No, you ain't wrong.
Every household has a brand.
You ain't wrong.
So, how do you represent it?
Yeah.
We are influencers of our own brand. And I don't want to be out on these streets looking crazy.
Nah, what you said, that does make sense, of being accountable to one another. And that people don't want to be accountable to their actions.
Yes, and I was like, and I think accountability is, it is. Accountability is a great thing because it also is like protection. Mm-hmm. Because if...
So, for instance...
Yeah. So you gotta
I'm just saying with finances, like if we, like with us, we have, a threshold, I guess, of what we can spend without having a conversation with one another. So if I went out and didn't talk to you and say, listen, I'm going to buy a brand new car, and I didn't talk to you.
I would not fly.
I know, but that's part of the accountability, mm-hmm. because I'll even go lower than that. I'll just say I got a designer watch and spend $700. I don't wear watches like that, but I'm just saying that's
not anymore. You used to.
Yeah, but not really designer, but yeah. I used to wear a lot of watches. Okay, but what I'm saying is that's accountability, because I just went ahead and just bought something without discussing it with you, because we share our money, all our money comes together. It's like, yeah, if I even if it's on a credit card that I have, I still always will say, I always will have a conversation with you, because yes, it's my credit, but still, this is a major purchase. Mm-hmm. So. And
yeah, so that's a good example about finances, but even about hanging out with friends, or even coming from work. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are times when when you were going to work, outside of the house to work, you would be like, hey, there's this thing, I'm just letting you know where I'm going to be, whatever. Because I expect to have that kind of communication with you.
And if I don't have it, you're like, whoa, where you at?
Because it's because that's just, because also too, a part of the submission is just respect. I'm not going to be out in the streets just because I can. I respect you as my husband. I'm going to let you know where I'm at. I'm going to let you know if I'm going to be later than expected, or whatever the case may be. I'm not just going to be like, well, I'm out. Yeah. I'm out. Deal with it. That's disrespectful as you as my husband. And then you are on the socials and you seeing me turning up, and I'm wait, what? You were supposed to be at a happy hour. You were supposed to be home 3 hours ago. It's a whole thing. So that was so it's just not it's just not about control. It's literally about putting your pride aside, being respectful of your spouse, allowing yourself to be accountable to others, mm-hmm. and being responsible and being able to take, responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had another analogy, but it's gone now.
Sorry.
No, it came and it was and I didn't want to cut you off, and it was now it's gone.
I appreciate it, because I would have lost my thought for sure. For sure. But yeah, so when you look at submission, I'm just going to keep talking until it comes back. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about submission in that regards, in regards to accountability, in regards to protection, in regards to respect, when you think about that, then there's no reason to not want to be a submissive husband and a submissive wife.
Okay. It came to me
Yes.
just now.
And
So, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean
no, it's perfect timing.
So it made me think of, so for instance, if it's like something that I like to do, we get, like when we first got married, there's something that I like to do. Like for instance, maybe I like to go to a jazz club, right?
Okay.
I'm just saying, you don't like going to jazz clubs, okay? Then I say, let's go, one day, I say one day a week, maybe once a month, I like to go to a jazz club. One time you asked me, you say, I don't want you to go to the jazz club. Okay. So this is just, again, I'm just looking at, this is something that I enjoy doing by myself. I want you to come along. You say you don't want me to go. Okay, cool. I'm going to submit and not go. That doesn't mean I won't go another time. It's just saying, because you asked me that you didn't ask, I just sound New York.
Yep.
I'm submitting to you something that I want to do, but I'm going to submit to you and not do that. So I was just thinking about that.
Well, yeah,
so.
and that's what, and like you said, you're going to submit to me is like literally like if it's something that I don't want to do that you like to do.
Yeah. I'm not going to force you, yeah.
I'm not saying you better not go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I don't like going, so you better not go.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it works. But it's just like, hey, I don't like to go, and I get to choose. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't like to go, so I would prefer you not to go this night. Or I don't like to go, but I will go with you, I'll go with you this one time, but next time, go by yourself, hit up your boys, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I get to choose how I want to, like, handle the situation. It's not like, it won't be me forcing you not to go,
Gotcha.
or you forcing me to go. Like, it's like a mutual, that's why it's like a two-way street, because it's a mutual agreed upon decision or, take on the situation. So because it's mutual agreed upon decision, like, we're both like respecting each other's opinion on the situation, and we go forward. So, we make a path, a plan forward, whatever. I didn't really have a way to land that one. Sorry. But yeah, so that, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Do you have any other things you want to say about submission?
I think I got it, if I can pull it up. Let me see. I guess one of the things, I guess they always say submission is like blind obedience. That's something that I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like blind obedience, like, regardless of what I say, you just got to do it. But that's not, again, I look at it, that's not the case. That's not what submission is.
Not the case.
Because...
I'm going to ask the question.
Because, again, us getting married, we didn't go into this blind. We didn't go into this like, okay, you going to marry me, you just follow. Like, that's not, we did this together. We made a plan of how we wanted to get married, how we wanted our life to be, how we wanted to do our finance. All this stuff it wasn't just like, okay, listen, we're gonna get married, let's spend $300,000 on a wedding. Like, we didn't just go into it blind. Like, we really took our time, and again, we submitted to one another, because there was some things that I wanted that you didn't, and vice versa, but we submitted to one another. So,
well, and we also went to premarital counseling, which helped us, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's
and true. We've never been married before. So we did premarital counseling to help us to talk about these things. And of course, submission was one, finances was another, but I'm just like, those things were brought up in premarital counseling to allow us to think through things prior to us actually experiencing them.
Correct.
So but you're right, because I was just thinking about like our early days and stuff. So there was like, I don't think we would have had
You said you laughed and I said that earlier, so now I'm confused.
Well, because early days we were not communicating like this.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
So that's why I was like.
No, you're right. I'm not.
So that's why I chuckled, kind of just thinking about some of our earlier conversations about this.
Gotcha. Okay.
And how I wanted, so one of the things is that I want to prove to Jay that I was not going to be this submissive wife, blindly following. No. So I went like the opposite. Like he'll be like, let's do this. And I'll be like, nope, not going to do it. Actually going to do this instead. And it's just like, okay, it's not that serious.
Yeah, that actually happened. That actually did happen, yeah.
So that's why I'm like, yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I used to be confused. I'm like, what? Like, and it wasn't like I was giving her command, like, you need to do this. Like, it wasn't like that. It was suggesting something, and I was like, why is she going left? It was just a normal. So, yeah.
So that's what I was laughing about, yeah. So yeah, that's all
That's a good way to end. That was a good way to end.
Yeah, it's like, listen, like we're not. Yeah, when we are talking about these things, it's because we literally live through them.
Yeah.
We have worked them. We've had these conversations because that was very.
That's funny you brought that up because I totally forgot. Yeah.
Like when we first got our first couple of months was.
Yeah, that was...
Well, because also, too, I think I was going... Well, not I was going through, but, like, you know, as a part of when you get married, which is one of our first conversations, what was the last name?
Oh, yeah.
So, taking on, you know, you have to take on your last name. Well, I'm very proud of my maiden name. And I was just like, I don't want to lose that. Like, I've been that person for what it was, like 28... about 28 when we got married. Yeah. Like, I had been that person for 28 years, and now you want me to come and change my name, and you ain't gonna control me. We gonna hyphenate.
And again, we had this conversation, and I did not like say, you're gonna take, I didn't say, she brought it up, and I was like, where's this going? I was like, where is this going? Because it came out.
I'm an independent woman.
It came out the blue. I was like,
you ain't gonna come in and change me.
I'm like, where did this come from? Like, I didn't even say, like, you have to, I didn't even bring it up, but that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I love my wife, and she does that often.
Listen, growth.
It's growth. It's growth, but you still go left sometimes when it's been on the podcast. You just been left with stuff I said.
All hypothetical situation.
But even hypothetical, you come at me like I did.
This is not a hypothetical situation. Literally, we live through this. It's like this struggle. And so that's why I want to talk about it because, like I said, so often when people talk about being submissive, they just think that's one of the drawbacks of getting married because they're like, well, no, I, have my own thoughts and opinions and whatever. And you will still have those same thoughts, opinions, and whatever when you get married. It's not a matter of losing yourself. It's a blending of selves.
Yeah.
So marriage advance tip for this week is when you think about submission, think about what the actual words mean. Submission, meaning being under the mission. So when you get married, you're under the mission of whatever God has purposed your marriage to do. So that's why I can easily now let Jay hold me accountable for my actions, my thoughts, my words, as well as vice versa, because we have a purpose on our lives. Mm-hmm. And so now we're working toward that. So we give mutual respect and authority to each other.
That's good.
So that we can then walk out our mission.
Yeah, that's
together.
Good. That's definitely good. That's good.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna say if you just share this.
Share it.
Share this with people because we've all gone through this. Meaning that we've all had. If you're married, you got to submit sometimes, and it's not, I would say, a detriment to you or to the relationship, but that is truly submitting to one another. It brings about oneness.
Yes. I do have one more analogy.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, because you just thought about like everybody has to submit at one point in time. Everybody has to achieve your goal, to achieve your purpose. Everybody has to be accountable to somebody.
Correct.
Just like LeBron James. LeBron James, yes, there's natural talent there, but to get the best out of his body and like this team and to win the championships or whatever, he has a coach. He has like nutritional coach and all the things he has.
Yeah.
Like he has a support team. Even for business, he had like mentors and stuff like so. Like everybody has someone to be that is holding them accountable to. So why should it be different for your marriage?
Correct.
So.
All right, well, like I said, share this, like, subscribe, and I guess till next week.
Until next week.
Peace.